Hey everyone, welcome back to Ask MMA, a series where we answer your guys' questions. If you guys have a question or topic for us for next week, feel free to drop it down in the comments section below. Make sure you use hashtag AskMMA before your question to possibly get featured. But our first question this week comes from Francilio09, and they say, I love the story of how you got the name Raylani, how magical that it happened at Disneyland. What event at Disneyland/DCA is your absolute favorite? So this is a great question. We get this question quite a bit, as a lot of you guys who do want to go to like these after dark events or the actual like events such as like a Pixar Fest. So in my opinion, I think after like Nicole and I chatted about it a little bit more, I would definitely say Oogie Boogie is probably one of the highest levels of it, just because we like the fact that you have a little bit more time inside the parks for like what you're paying for. However, one that I truly loved back in the day was Star Wars Night. But as like the years progressed, I wasn't a huge fan of it. However, I know that last year the Star Wars Night was looking a little bit better. They did kind of like fix some things, so I was happy to hear about that. This upcoming year, I'll for sure go to that. As you guys know, I'm like a huge Star Wars fan. Oogie Boogie Bash, I would definitely say probably has to be one of the best after dark events or events that Disneyland hosts. Again, I feel like you're just getting a little bit more for your money. Some people have, other opinions on it. However, I do still feel like it's one of the best bangs for your buck. You get to enter the park around 3 p.m. and you're all the way there until, 11 o'clock, I believe. So yeah, you're there for quite a while. It's again, just, I don't know, I feel like it's fun for the whole family or if you're going as a couple. But one other event, sorry, I know it's probably like one question, but I feel also like Throwback Night. Throwback Night was wonderful. We had such a good time there too. I just kind of love the idea that they did something to kind of like bring back like the original Disneyland. I thought that was really neat, and I can't wait to see what else Disney does in the future. Now our next question or topic comes from Titan Augusta. Hopefully I said that correctly. They say, hi, I have so many questions, but my son wanted to know if the blue milk is the same in the cart as the one they sell at Oga's with the sugar cookie. So unfortunately, yeah, the only difference is you're getting the blue milk at the blue milk stand. It's just blue milk. It's got like that slush kind of taste to it. The texture inside of Oga's Cantina, however, I feel like the texture is a little bit more like creamy milky rather than the one at the milk stand, which I feel is a little bit more like slushy milky, if that kind of makes sense. But the taste to me was the exact same from like what I can remember. The sugar cookie on top was phenomenal. That is something that I can't wait to experience once again. I think when we were in there, Nicole got like the fuzzy tauntaun, and we heard that it was gone, but it's actually still there. You hear rumors sometimes, right? But yes, the blue milk is really, really wonderful. I definitely recommend it to everyone who hasn't gotten a chance to try something like that. And if it's going to be your first visit, I'm personally a huge fan of the blue milk. I know Nicole is a green milk, so you kind of have like that division between the two milks. But if you get a chance to go to Oga's Cantina, our recommendation would be to try out that blue milk. It's really fun. It's actually the only drink I've personally had inside of Oga's, as I'm not like a huge drinker, but maybe when we do go back, I have a couple that I want to try. But yeah, so I hope that answers your question, and hopefully your son gets a chance to try that blue milk in the near future. Now our next question comes from Sierra K. Elliott, and they ask, first off, I love your family and vlogs. Is vlogging both your full-time jobs? First off, thank you so much for your support. We truly appreciate it very much. Now, the second part of this is vlogging both your full-time jobs, and the short answer is yes. We're doing this full-time. We're full-time content creators, and this, again, is going to be kind of broken down into a few different parts. So if a lot of you guys have asked like what we do, and again, we create content, we create videos, our vlogs, all of that stuff is really what we focus on week after week. So it's all thanks to you guys as the viewers, as the subscribers, our channel members, our Patreon members, which we're very thankful for. All of you guys have allowed us to be able to do this full time. Well, I guess I should also say we have a social media contracting business, which is an official LLC, where we actually help businesses nationwide create and market ads. So we also have that, but since the market has been a little bit shaky lately, we've actually lost about 95% of our workload. So that's allowing us to be able to go full time with YouTube and make up for all of that. So again, yes, the question is, are we doing this full time? And yeah, again, it's very thankful to all of you guys who have allowed us to do this. It's definitely become a dream come true. You know, I talk to a lot of people, and you know, it's one of those things where I didn't realize I would actually be in the position that I'm in now. I've actually been doing YouTube for over a decade. I've helped build other channels. I've helped build other Instagram pages and things that we don't really necessarily talk about here. But again, some really high level businesses at that point. But yeah, I mean, again, since we lost some of our workload with our other LLC, just because Making Magical Adventures is also an LLC, these two businesses have really been not necessarily a struggle for the past year, but trying to balance the two. And you saw us probably previously a handful of months ago kind of only going to the parks maybe once or twice a week, but now we've amplified that. We're going about 4 or 5 times a week. So again, trying to build this channel, our goal for the end of this year would be about 20 to 25,000 subscribers. Trying to get that plaque next year with 100,000 subscribers on this channel. So we've really been grinding, we've been working our butts off, but that's all thanks to you guys and your support, the donations that you guys have given us, our Patreon members, number one, for really supporting us, and our channel members. So once again, we truly appreciate that, and we hope that kind of answers your question. I know we got quite a bit of those questions that flooded in, so for all of you guys who did ask that question, is vlogging both your full-time jobs? Yes, that is your answer. So again, we truly appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts to be able to be put in this situation. Now our next question comes from Gerardo, and he asked, if you had the ability to change anything in the Disneyland parks, what would it be? Now this question has had me up at night for I don't know how long, and this is one of those things where I'm just like, what could it possibly be? Just because, like, you know, we go day in and day out, we try to figure out like what could be the best solution to a lot of things. Now, I know we're going to get the Coco ride, we're getting the Avengers Campus expansion, we're getting Avatar Land, so a lot of things to look forward to. But to be able to change something, again, really caught me by surprise, but then it really clicked. So I'll go over what Nicole was wanting me to talk about and highlight, but from what she pointed out is she wanted me to talk about like the pathways, which totally makes sense. So I know Disneyland's really limited on space and they can only make their pathways so big for like walkways, right? And I'm at fault for it, you know, stopping in the middle of like a walkway or just kind of like looking down or just, you know, being distracted rather than just walking, right? So I'm part of the statistic, but there's also a lot of times where, you know, people with, I guess families can probably relate to this, with strollers or handicapped folks in their wheelchair. You know, it's pretty hard to kind of maneuver when, you know, like people are like lined in a row and you can't get past anyone. I think a lot of you guys will know what I'm talking about. Or just people kind of stopping. And again, I'm at fault for it occasionally. I try not to anymore. I try and pull off to the side. But again, it's kind of hard. Like I feel like sometimes the pathways are so narrow to be able to fit the amount of people that Disney is just pouring in on the daily, or the new Magic Keys that open up. So it just allows more people in the parks. But again, allowing more people in the parks also hinders something, right? A cause and effect. So again, trying to walk sometimes is just very difficult. So larger walkways would be wonderful. I don't know how it is at Walt Disney World, as we're going to try and find out again in the near future. I can't really spoil the date, but we're going to try and figure out what that's like. But as far as me, I would say my biggest, like, I don't think this, I was going to say pet peeve, that was last week, but anything for me to be able to change, I would say the Bing Bong and Minnie Mouse parking, I was going to say structure, the parking space, so the top level at the parking structure at Disneyland. Now I say that because, I mean, some people might just be like, oh, you're petty or whatever, but I really don't like parking up there. Sometimes, like, even when I get shuttled up there, I'll just leave and go a different entrance to be able to not park there. For whatever it is, I just don't like not having like the shade. Like so hear me out. You are at Disneyland like the whole day, and then you go up to like your hot car baking in the sun. But again, that's really not, I guess, the thing I want to change, I should say, is Like, what about like some like shades up there, or like solar power shades on the top, or something where it can kind of like help block the car, make it a little bit more efficient for Disney. But again, I don't know what all entails in something like that, so I'm really just kind of like spitballing it from just a normal guest standpoint. But I think that is like my biggest thing. If I had the ability to change anything, it would be to add some shades to the top of the parking structure, which would include Bing Bong and Minnie Mouse. Again, I just don't like parking up there. But again, I don't know like what Disney has like in store, if they're gonna, you know, do something in the future. I don't really know, or again, if that's even possible to do. But again, it's just like one of those things, like during the summer, you go back to your car, it's like super hot, and you're just, you know, it's just the little things, right? One more thing I did want to kind of talk about in regards to parking is the fact of like, when you are trying to leave the parking structure, it's kind of hard to explain, but like the cars that are kind of leaving versus the cars that are kind of like doing like a loop, there's no like yield or stop sign, which I really strongly feel like the cars who are leaving their parking space, there should be a stop sign at the end of that aisle, just because what we tend to see, and it's just for the safety of us and like other guests, is you'll see cars kind of like flying through and just kind of immediately merging, but it's not like a double merge. It'll be like the cars will actually hit each other. So we've seen that happen, I don't know how many times, almost on the regular weekly basis. We see it all of the time. So again, I think that's more or less like something that should be like stop signs for cars to stop before like the yield, without the yield sign. So again, it's just for like a safety measure, I feel like. So if you guys are going, just be careful of that. As like that's kind of like one of my biggest things that for safety reasons I would like to change probably the most. Now our next question comes from Immortal Juicebox, and they ask, what's your number one travel destination if you can go anywhere in the world? Holy cow. So this is truly a crazy and loaded question, but for me, it really narrows down to being able to travel to the UK. Now, England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland have always been something that I've dreamed about going to be able to see what it's like in person. I know we've met a lot of you guys from England, Ireland, and Scotland. Like, we've met a lot of you guys, and of course people from Australia. So shout out to all of you wonderful people. But I think the UK has my heart. I really, really do want to go there. Now, a fun fact is when I got out of the Marine Corps years ago, my goal was to actually move to the UK, start a whole new life, and kind of just live out there, right? And things change, right? Things change, but we're pretty much like, I'm really trying to push to be able to go there, like Scotland. Like there's just something about like the beauty in the UK with like the sightseeing, the greenery. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong down below, or shout out to all of our UK people. Let me know down in the comment section below. But I'm hoping within the next, 6 months to a year, we'll be able to go and travel a little bit more and see these places in Europe. Also, like, I'm a huge fan of Harry Potter. Seeing some destinations like where they film some stuff would be really neat to see. My mom has actually been to Ireland. She told me all about it. It looks so beautiful, and I don't know, I'm just so excited to be able to go there one day. Also, I've been listening to a lot of Scottish music, so Nathan Evans is one of the artists that I listen to on Apple Music, and I love his stuff. So like, I don't know, I'm part Irish, I'm part Scottish, so I think it's probably also in my blood. But yeah, I think the UK would be something that I would love to go visit. It's one of those things where it's just, hopefully we get the chance to be able to go. And I know Nicole and Raylani would probably love it also. So it's one of those things that is on our bucket list. So hopefully in the near future, we'll be able to go. Now our next question comes from Tiny Jamaican, and he asked, who would be your favorite Disney character? Now this one I'm actually going to be breaking into a few different parts. So I'm going to start with Nicole. So her favorite Disney character has got to be Peter Pan. I would say for her Pixar character, oh gosh, who would it be?
Hey babe.
Hey, what's your favorite Pixar character?
Favorite Pixar?
Yeah.
I guess like Bugs Life characters.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. So Nicole's favorite character has got to be Flick from Bugs Life. I know she's a huge fan of that movie. And I know her favorite Star Wars character is, you guys are going to laugh, Jar Jar Binks. So again, that is her favorite characters. Now, after asking Raylani, she says hers is Elsa, which is a given. She loves Elsa. Now mine, I'm going to give to you guys in a couple different parts. Again, I know, I'm sorry, Tiny, if the question was so direct, you want to know one. But as far as like classic characters go, I would say mine has got to be Mickey Mouse. But again, since Disney owns so many different licenses, I would have to say, like, again, my favorite's got to be Star Wars characters, right? So it's so hard for me to pick between Ahsoka Tano and Grand Admiral Thrawn, but those are my two favorite Star Wars characters. Now, as far as Pixar goes, I like Barley from Onward or Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story. So again, it's so difficult to be able to pick the ones I really do like, but let us know down in the comment section below what's all of your guys' favorites. Also, if you got any more questions for us for next week's video and you want to be possibly featured, make sure to use hashtag AskMMA down below and ask your question or topic that you guys want us to talk about here on the channel. But we hope you guys enjoyed this segment of the video for episode 2. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed, and tap that notification bell to be notified when we do drop a new video. And like we always say, may you always have a magical adventure. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.